I'm not going to beat around the bush. 21 by Adele is the best album that's been released in the 21st century. And it's totally reasonable to call it the best album ever. I don't think it's unpopular to love and praise Adele's sophomore masterpiece. I consulted a ton of greatest albums list when I wrote this video, and 21 appeared on most of them. It made it as high as 15th all time on Apple Music's list. The album clearly has a status in popular culture too. Rolling in the Deep and Someone Like You were both some of the most popular songs of their decade. Lil Wayne sampled the guitar from Rolling in the Deep. The Zac Brown Band covered the album's sixth track, He Won't Go. And Linkin Park actually covered Rolling in the Deep in 2011. This is all just to say that 21 had a huge impact on musicians and culture, and the music itself is fully capable of moving between genres. I mean, Lil Wayne, the Zac Brown Band, and Linkin Park are all covering songs from the same album. I've always considered music taste subjective. I tend to adhere to the idea that the best music is just what your favorite music is. But if I were to make an argument that 21 is great beyond just talking about why I like it, I think the fact that it transcends genres and has such an influence on culture today would be a good argument. But now, since I think that music is mostly just about what you like, I absolutely am going to talk about why I like this album so much. And we're going to go song by song, because why not? There's a fire starting in my... So I know that I was just glazing Rolling in the Deep for transcending genres and stuff, but it's actually probably my least favorite song on the album. I still love it. I love every song on this album, but Rolling in the Deep has just been a little bit overplayed for me, and I don't think it quite ever brings as much to the table as the other songs on this album do. Of course, it has all the staples of 21 with an amazing vocal performance from Adele and confident lyrics. I really like the second verse where she sings about how she'll burn into her ex-partner's mind. I just think that's a great image, and I love the way that she specifically talks about, like, long after they've been over, she'll still be there, you know? And she catches a great rhythm during that verse too. The song really just, like, peaks toward the middle, but the rest of it doesn't do too much that's crazy special. It's still a banger, but just not my favorite. Dude, not gonna lie, this song goes so hard. I think the album really starts to pick it up here in terms of its, like, rhythm and groove. The drums and honestly just the entire rhythm of this song pairs super well with Adele's sort of vengeful lyrics. I just love the concept of Adele singing so confidently about how her old partner chose wrong when he left her. She's bragging in this song and insulting her old partner in such a satisfying and visceral way. It really cuts deep in a great way. This may be sort of a weird observation, but I think that the lyrics in this song are actually not too far from something that, like, a hyper-confident rapper would write, like Freddie Gibbs or Nas or Travis Scott or something. The only difference is that Adele talks about it in the context of romance. She's, like, bragging in the same way that rap genres do, and it's equally as attractive and intriguing. And I love how she applies that type of thinking to, like, her ex-boyfriend or whoever it is that she's singing about. This is another instance where the second verse is the peak of the song in my eyes, and that will tend to be a common trend for this whole album. In that second verse specifically, it's great how she talks about the woman that was chosen over her, talking about how she's half his age, and now talking about how he still ended up missing Adele. I just love it. I love the energy. This one is just so fire. Probably top 5 on the album for me. Turning Tables is no question top 3 for this album, and perhaps top 1. This song has likely the best piano work on the entire album. The piano cascades for the whole song and sets the tone well for the absolute heartbreak in the lyrics and singing. The titular metaphor of turning tables is a really sharp way to think about a toxic relationship. The verse is talking about fighting for no reason, and constant conflict in general can honestly be hard to listen to in a good way. I think anyone who has been through a truly hard phase in a relationship should find this song devastating. The chorus is some of the best singing I have ever heard in my life, especially considering the fact that she's talking about how she just can't continue this relationship, as much as it may hurt her to realize that. But the heaviest part of this song, and debatably the peak of the entire album, is the bridge here. Adele in this bridge thinks about how she'll act and how she'll think the next time that she's confronted with toxic love, or even just love in general. She says, "Next time I'll be braver, I'll be my own savior." That line by itself is brutal, thinking about being disappointed in yourself for not standing your ground better in love. Then Adele says she'll be braver when, quote, "the thunder calls for me." Comparing love to thunder is so genius. I think it's the best lyrical moment of this album. Thunder is natural and it's baked into the existence of the world, just like love is. It's a cosmic and unstoppable force, so it's almost innately hopeless for Adele to tell herself that she'll be braver in the face of love. It's like saying to yourself that you'll save yourself from a lightning strike. Maybe you can try, maybe you can think of things differently, maybe do things differently, but the thunder will take you if nature deems it so, and love functions the same way. The bridge is just gorgeous. I can't gush about it enough. Okay, I've talked long enough about this song. Everybody, please go listen to this one. I love this song, I really do, but I don't have quite as much to say about it. I like how the album switches to a guitar-driven song, especially like an acoustic guitar-driven song. I think it's a nice change of pace to sort of recover from the heartbreak in Turning Tables. This album as a whole is paced very well, and the order of the tracks was clearly very well thought out. Again, with Don't You Remember, the second verse is the best part of the song. Adele sings her ass off. You know the drill at this point. I'm pretty sure that Set Fire to the Rain was the third biggest hit on this album, behind Someone Like You and Rolling in the Deep, and I can definitely understand why. I'm a huge fan of this one. The piano creates a great groove, and of course Adele has an amazing performance. This is sort of a different song in this album because it's more predicated on the rhythm of the song than like Adele's amazing singing melody. And the next song on the album, He Won't Go, does the sort of same thing. The whole like middle section of this album is a little bit more rhythm driven than you might expect from Adele. This is actually one of my favorite songs to run to because of that driving rhythm that it has in the piano. I think the bridge is the best part of the song here, even though it's fairly brief. Adele sings about how even though everything is over with this person, she can't help herself from expecting him to come up in her life in some sort of way. Really a tragic way to think about somebody that you aren't necessarily over. I just think this does all the Adele 21 stuff perfectly. Yet another great song. This is probably the most underrated song on this album. I barely hear anyone discuss it, and I tried for a long time to find good covers of this song on YouTube or wherever, but they are very few and far between. This is yet another song where Adele really creates a great rhythm. She is definitely well known for her ability to sing, but really the creation of a flow here is what makes it so good. The instrumental being mostly stripped down to the drums works super well. The verses are almost like rap verses, and they still sound so great. I love the lyrics yet again here. The concept of persevering through the lows in a relationship is something which deserves more attention in music. Chris Stapleton sings about the same thing in Starting Over, my favorite song of his. Of course, it's romantic and gorgeous to sing about young love or infatuation or all the reasons why you're obsessed with somebody. Some of my favorite lyrics ever are about that. But I think it may be more romantic to sing about the fact that you won't give up on someone despite them being far from their best at times. It's less sexy to talk about how you'll stick with someone for years, but I'm inclined to say that it's more meaningful. This is probably the most optimistic and loving song here. Banger status for sure. Okay, so I know I just said that He Won't Go is the most underrated song on the album, but I actually may think that it's this one. I cannot express how happy I am that this song doesn't have any drums. This album understands its tone so perfectly. The energetic and satisfactory songs have great drums driving them, and the tragic songs let the piano and singing speak for itself. Adele is trying to cope with someone leaving her here, and it's so tragic to see how she progresses through that grief as the song goes by. At first, she seems confused, asking questions in the first verse about where she may have gone wrong. Then she gets to the second verse where the confusion sort of turns into spite, talking about how maybe her leaving would show him what he's missing, and tragically saying that she thought he loved her more than this. Then in the bridge, she's at a point where she's just begging. Anyone who has been in this spot in a relationship should at least come close to crying during this bridge. I can't listen to this song without my eyes watering. It's not my favorite song on this album, I don't think, but it probably has the greatest affinity to make me cry. My love for this song can't be put into words, and a lot of people watching this may not even know this one, so everyone should stop what they're doing and listen to it this instant. I think this song gives Turning Tables a strong run for its money in terms of the piano work. This song just has a great feel to it. And again, the tone musically is so perfect for Adele's lyricism about obviously waiting for someone. And I go back and forth on whether I consider the type of waiting that Adele is talking about to be something toxic. She isn't necessarily entitled to him, but she's just being clear that she wants a future with someone. She knows she messed up with him before, but now the, quote, sky has cleared and it's blue, and she sees her future in him. I think that's probably okay, and, I think it's a good approach to take to relationships. This is another sort of optimistic song here. It's just a simple, loving, and catchy song, and I'm surprised that it wasn't more of a radio hit. If I had to pick a favorite song from this album, I'm fairly certain that this would be it. This is one of the only songs I've ever heard that makes me cry and smile at the same time. There's the obvious components that make this song great. The melody on the piano, the bass, and the vocals are all uniquely amazing. One and Only does the same musical technique that other great songs like Self-Control by Frank Ocean or I Know the End by Phoebe Bridgers. Those songs and this one slowly build. They start as stripped back songs and sort of sneak up on you. And by the end of the song, you're left crying without ever really realizing how you got there. The song is super catchy and singable. It would be great even without the genius lyrics, and the lyrics serve to raise the ceiling of this song and make it one of my favorites I've ever heard. The lyrics take a simple concept but execute the writing so perfectly. The verses paint a picture of two people who so clearly want to love each other, and Adele is urging this person to give love a real chance. The song describes committing to love as something that can be simple, not easy, but simple. It's especially amazing how Adele wrote the pre chorus, which talks about how she doesn't know why she's still scared of love. She's been through it before. Love is something that will always create that existential fear, no matter how many times you go through it. And Adele is saying that they could forgive each other's past, and he can simply be hers. These lyrics are so perfect for my generation, Gen Z, which has such a huge fear of commitment. I'd say the rise of the situationship as a concept sort of proves that fear of commitment. And I'm certainly guilty of being scared of commitment in my life. Plenty, probably more than most people I know. Maybe that's why these lyrics ring so true to me. The second verse here reminds me of the second verse in the song Bad Decisions by The Strokes. That's a great song too, by the way. But they both talk about how hanging on to every word that their love says can just take over their mind. Such a specific line about hanging on to words is something that I've always found so relatable. Then the second half of this song is this gorgeous crescendo where Adele repeats that it's not easy to love, but she still is daring him to take that risk and, let her be his one and only, as the song says. Okay, yeah, I'm yapping and I apologize, but this is one of the best songs ever written, and the album probably peaks here. So I actually didn't know this for a while, but this is a cover of a song by The Cure, which has the same name. And I think it's placed very well in the album, and Adele definitely does the song justice. For some reason, I always like songs a little bit less when I find out that they aren't original. I don't know why. It's kind of like a flaw with the way that I listen to music, I think. I had the same thing happen with Violent Crimes by Kanye. But Adele does it well here. Her voice is gorgeous, and I love the guitar work. That being said, it isn't much of a standout to me, but of course, it's still great. I mean, you know how great this one is. Everyone knows how great this song is. This album consistently makes me cry more than any other art I've experienced, other than maybe the album Ants From Up There by Black Country New Road. By the way, random shout out, but please listen to that album too. Back to 21 though, I almost cry every time when I fully listen to this song attentively. So hard to fully get through it without breaking down in some sort of way. Just her singing about being so happy for someone having moved on, but still desperately wanting them back. She doesn't even want to get between him and his new life, but she literally can't control the urge to just see him, or at least try to see him. All she can honestly do now is hope that she isn't forgotten. This song really is tragic because it makes me think about the concept of love just making people helpless, and not helpless in a cynical or evil or just not in some sort of sinister way, but more so in a romantic lens, like a helplessness that will help your life in the long run if you let it, but something that just entails so much pain. Someone Like You is just the perfect example of how such a huge song that can define a generation can still be so high quality. And all of this hasn't even mentioned the gorgeous cascading piano, which sets the mood for this whole song. And of course, Adele sings like an absolute angel, especially here. I really recommend looking into the live versions of this song if you haven't heard them. This song is just a masterpiece with a capital M. I Found a Boy is a super underrated song. I actually haven't ever heard anyone speak about this, but it's a great outro. It's one of the very few songs on this album which is driven by guitar and an electric guitar at that. The lyrics have the same sort of tone as Rumor Has It, but while that song is a little bit more braggy, I Found a Boy is a little bit more mature. In both Rumor Has It and I Found a Boy, Adele is basically bragging about someone wanting her back, but I Found a Boy takes a more mature stance on it, which is maybe less sexy, but it serves the album much better as an outro. Also, the part right before the chorus where the guitar starts sort of winding up and Adele catches a great rhythm, probably the best part of the song for me. And that was about all I wanted to say as far as the specific songs on this album goes. I've just been a huge fan of this album for years on end. It's been there for me through very hard times and even through happiness or whatever it may be. And I figured I would want to share the love for it because I personally don't think it actually gets enough attention in conversations about like all-time great albums. Sure, it's ranked high on lists, but when I talk to my friends or just people online or, when I try to get a sense of what the consensus is, I think this album is actually a little bit slept on. And of course, it's gorgeous and it's perfect. Okay, see you guys later.